Hi, I'm Drew, and I'm the software engineering lead at RightOn Education. We're a startup focused on finding the value in student mistakes and in helping produce a positive classroom culture of error where kids can feel better about making mistakes in the math classroom. Today, though, I'd like to talk about something really specific, and that's how we're using emerging AI technology within our core features and products at RightOn. AI technology has obviously had a seismic impact on the education technology landscape over the last couple of years, and as a small, fast moving startup, we're really focused on deploying that technology in strategic, mission aligned ways that will ultimately help students and teachers in the classroom. So today, I'd like to talk about an example and demo such an example of a feature that's in our product right now that's using AI, we think, in really interesting ways. And that feature is going to be about student hints, and it's called player thinking down here in the center of my screen. Before I get into the details, though, let me walk you through all this information on the screen here. On the left-hand side in blue is our teacher-facing app called Host, and this is the app that allows teachers to guide their students through the game. That's where we're focusing today. And then on the right, we've got Play, which is the student-facing app. And I've got a couple instances here so that players can kind of go through the game. Notably, I'm kind of combining these two on a single screen. Obviously, in a classroom, students are on their own devices and teachers are on their own devices. If you haven't seen these screens before, definitely check out our app at rightoneducation.com. Everything's open there. You can get into a game very easily, start it up, play it in your classroom. We'd love to know what you think about it. But let me get into this demo. So the core flow at Right On Education is that you play a game in two phases. In the first phase, you get a small amount of points for identifying the correct answer. In the second phase, you get a lot larger amount of points for identifying the most popular wrong answer. And by doing so, we give the opportunity to really get at the underlying concepts that are leading students to the wrong answers and to kind of assign value and richness to those, to identifying those concepts and working through them. So we're in the second phase of the game here. Students have just chosen what they think is the most popular wrong answer. And because we're really interested in that underlying conceptual framework, we're now allowing students to provide hints to their classmates in terms of how they would arrive at that answer too. And we do this in an open text field here, which is both exciting and a little bit challenging in terms of pulling in student feedback, but it allows us to really kind of surface a lot of that kind of nuance and subtlety in terms of the actual thinking that students are doing in the classroom sessions. So I'm going to go through and we'll see how player thinking helps teachers live as this data comes into them. So if I'm a student in the class, I might give a hint for this specific example that's useful. That's like subtract 1.5 pounds. And, or I might also say start with f equals 5 minus x, another useful hint. If I got the answer wrong, I might be really confident still and I might think that I got the answer right. So I might provide a hint that's like add 1.5 pounds. And this is also really meaningful data because it provides some of the steps that might be informing some of those misconceptions. So I'll add that. And then, as I said, classrooms can be a bit chaotic. So you might get some answers like this, and that's just something that you've got to be able to handle. So we're getting a lot of this rich, subtle, somewhat nuanced data from students. And now what we're going to use AI for is to like aggregate that data so that teachers can understand it very rapidly in the classroom. So now what we do is we use AI to aggregate and categorize that data by underlying theme. So you can see here, understanding subtraction. You've got the corresponding answers that involve subtraction. You've got an incorrect addition operation, which is fantastic. It's both the operation as well as the fact that the student is off course a little bit, and then lack of understanding that fun, I don't know. So a teacher can very rapidly understand some of the like core patterns of thought that are going on in the classroom. So you could see if there's more than 4 players, if there's 20 kids in the classroom or 30 kids, the teacher's still only going to get a contained strategic subset of underlying themes that are informing how students are moving through some of these questions. So AI for us has been really exciting in that moment where we're providing it with somewhat Messy is one word, but like nuanced or subtle is another word for some of this data. And then we're able to rapidly surface it to teachers in a way that makes their job easier and that gives them some new and fresh insights into what's happening in the classroom. So we're pretty excited about this feature. If you want to test it out, again, go to rightoneducation.com and give it a shot. And we'd love to know what you think of it. Thanks so much.